Alright, this is a white boy online talking about anime, so you should kind of know what to expect. Today we're doing a tier list on all, I think it's 14, 28, 32 One Piece arcs. Of course, One Piece is probably my second favorite manga / anime of all time. I think Dragon Ball will probably always hold that place until I read Berserk, and then Berserk will probably take that place if what I've heard about it is true. But yeah, there's a shit ton of arcs. We got tier lists ranging from peak piece, hype, good, fun time, and mid. Because I don't think there's any arcs in One Piece that are like straight up bad. I don't think. So yeah, let's begin. First up, we got Romance Dawn. This is the first, 3-ish chapters of the manga. I think I'm gonna have to put this in fun time. I think probably one of the most impressive arcs. One of the most impressive just openings to any manga series where you, when you consider just how much shit Oda has to set up about this world, getting you used to the basics, the Great Pirate Era, Luffy's backstory, I think Zoro's backstory happens here, how devil fruits work, the existence of the Marines, just all while still trying to tell a fun, good story. I think it's insane how well it's how well it's paced. Right off the bat, it kind of gets to what One Piece is good at, which is character dynamics and humor. So, yeah, it's a fun time. Nothing special. Next up is Orange Town. It might also have to be fun time. It might be on the verge of good. I think we can slide into good. Yeah, this is the first arc where I kind of get that, oh fuck, this is a good anime. The dog is instantly, it hits you with a sad backstory with the dog. Of course, Buggy, phenomenal villain, just humor wise. Instantly we get the dynamics between Zoro, Nami, and Luffy. Yeah, some of the most charming chapters you'll find in the whole show, and that's really most of, I guess, pre-Water 7 One Piece. One Piece can kind of be separated into 6 parts, where you got East Blue, the Alabasta and Skypiea, then hard cut into Enies Lobby, through to, yeah, just Enies Lobby, and then 4th is Marine Ford, 5th is the Return and everything. I guess there's more 7. There's a guy on TikTok who broke down One Piece in the form of it being 6 books. That was pretty good, and I just butchered his entire point. So, Syrup Village. Syrup Village mid. When I said that there are no bad arcs in One Piece, Syrup Village is the closest we get, I think. Because, let's start with the positives. It's funny. Again, I think it's one of the early One Piece arcs really excel with comedy. I like Usopp's backstory. I like how he's introduced. I think it's really easy to make a character like Usopp just annoying and shitty. But I think Oda avoids that pretty well. Downside, the villain, the main kind of conflict doesn't really interest me. It's very Monster of the Week kinda, with just, that's where a lot of these early One Piece arcs are. Is you stumble upon a thing, and then you kind of go on an adventure with that thing. That's what pretty much everything up to like Alabasta is, and then we get into big shit with the lore and everything. Um, yeah, it's not good. It's not great. I think I'd still give it like a 5 out of 10, maybe 6. But it's also sandwiched in between two great arcs in Orangetown and Baratie, so whatever. Getting into Baratie, is this our first hype? I think it's our first hype. Baratie is great. Of course, it peaks kind of halfway through with the whole Mihawk Zoro bit, couple chapters. The first, I think, probably the first moment in One Piece where shit gets peak. Just Mihawk. Hey, he's been kind of riding off of his one appearance in like 1999 for the past 25 years, but it's because it's a really cool appearance. Okay, him coming in on just a small, shitty little ship. His lines, I think he says like some shit like, "It's time you learn just how big the world is." So some of the most memorable lines in all of One Piece just come from the Zoro Mihawk bit, especially Zoro's promise at the end. Sanji's backstory, it's pretty good. It's a good backstory. I like his dynamic with the rest of the chefs. Don Krieg is a fine villain. But yeah, this arc kind of peaks early, but doesn't overstay its welcome. So I think hype is a good spot for it. Next up is Arlong Park. Don't let people distract you with, because it's not as like big and lore heavy as like Marineford or fucking Wano or whatever. Arlong Park is the first masterpiece of One Piece. It is a tragic story. The Nami's fucking struggles and her backstory, and of course the Luffy help me scene is peak. Is peak. It's the first time of only a couple times I like truly like got teary-eyed at One Piece. I think a lot of that has to do with the performance in the anime sub with Nami. She's truly just fucking broken down. And then for not only the Luffy help me scene, but for instantly that to turn into just the whole gang walking to Arlong Park is... Come on. That's that type of like go from emotional highs to just straight up cool factor that I think One Piece masters. Arlong is a great villain, great final fight. They give every Straw Hat something to do, which is not something that stays with the rest of the series. But yeah, Arlong Park is incredible. Even in the live action, it's still great. Then we get Loguetown. I think Loguetown's it's very similar to Romance Dawn in that it's just kind of a fun time. Loguetown, a lot of it for me is the filler of the anime. I can't remember what's filler, what's canon, but I think if this was the anime version, it might be in good. It might push good, but as is, it's just a fun time. Reverse Mountain. Alright, so this is the first of the Alabasta saga. This is the crew getting to the Grand Line. Of course, we get the whole Laboon bit, which, with the knowledge of what comes later with Thriller Bark, it's a great moment. With it, without that kind of hindsight, it's still good, but it's not like, it's whatever. I think this might be our second mid. It's like 3 chapters too, so like, I don't have much to say, man. Whiskey Peak. This is the first. I think this one goes bottom of Fun Time. This is this entire arc is just aura. It's just aura moments. with Zoro fighting 100 guys. I think the villains they introduced, the Baroque works, are great. It really sets up the tension and the threat level that we'd see in Alabasta really well. Um, Little Garden's going at the top of fun. I fuck with Little Garden heavy. I think out of a lot of these kind of like mid tier in terms of like length and importance arcs, I think Little Garden, I like it a lot more than like, you know, similar arcs of that caliber like Drum Island, Long Ring, Punk Hazard, stuff like that. Little Garden's just really fun. I think it's one of the funniest arcs again. This is the first time where it's really like, oh, okay, it's Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy. Those are our guys. Zoro, Nami, and Vivi in the wax. It's funny. That whole fight is really fun. And then Sanji acting as a spy. I like Drogi and whatever the fuck their names are, Brogy and Dory. Sets up really well for Usopp's character that would hopefully pay off like 20 years later. Yeah, Little Garden's fun. Little Garden's a good time. Drum Island, I think it's gonna go at top of fun time. It's better. It's better than Orange Town, though. Is it? I think objectively it is, but I still think I just had more fun with Orange Town than I did Drum Island. Again, Drum Island's got some great moments. Chopper's backstory is one of the more underrated ones. I think everybody points towards Robin and Nami and Sanji as having the best backstories, but I think Chopper is honestly right up there with them. The whole Nami being sick is a great little plot point early on. It's just Wapol is just a bad, annoying, not funny. It's just a worse version of Buggy, and it's in a manga that's increasingly becoming a bit more serious, or at least is trying to build up more tension in long-running arcs. Drum Island is it just doesn't really work that well for me. It's still good, but yeah, I think I might be a little bit lower on Drum Island than other people are. Alabasta, if you would have asked me, pre, me really getting into, like, if you would have asked me, like, halfway through the series of me watching and reading it, where I would have had Alabasta, I would have said it was one of One Piece's best arcs, and it's still great, but I think it's not quite to the level of a lot of the other shit that we'd see later on in the series. I think Crocodile is one of the best villains in all of One Piece. His fight with Luffy is one of the better fights of pre-time skip. What I appreciate about Alabasta is that they give every character something, even if it's not much. Nami gets to finally have an actual fight scene. Usopp and Chopper have a great kind of duo fight scene. Zoro and Sanji both do more aura forming. And the last moment with the gang leaving Alabasta, it's a great moment, but compared to stuff like the Arlong Park, Enies Lobbies, Thriller Barks, Wano, compared to like those emotional high points, it's not quite on the same level. So I think Hype is great. It introduces a lot, obviously, of Ace and whole the poneglyphs, but a lot of that stuff doesn't really get is just kind of okay in Alabasta, and then later on becomes a big deal later. Next up is Jaya. I remember not really liking Jaya first time reading it. I still kind of feel the same. I don't care too much about a lot of the backstory of Nolan and everything. It just didn't interest me that much. The Blackbeard speech is fun, but that's kind of it for Jaya. I think Jaya's... It feels weird to put Whiskey Peak above Jaya, but I do think in my heart of hearts that's how I feel. So There he goes, top of mid, it's alright. Sky P, on the other hand, a very contested arc among the One Piece community. A lot of people, some people skip it, but then there's the complete opposite reaction of saying it's like one of the best arcs of all time. I'm in the middle. I think it's gonna go top of good. Which good for One Piece, you know, is like great for most other animes. I think this tier is like anything from like a 7 to like an 8.5 out of 10, and then hype is like 9, peak is like 10. Sky P is fun. I love the world building. I love just the whole aesthetic and vibe of the Sky Island. Enel's a very fun villain, with a great personality. Yeah, it's just a fun time. That's about it. All I have to say. I guess it's the biggest arc we've had outside of Alabasta to this point. I think it's poorly paced in the anime, which I think leads a lot of people away from it. But yeah, it's still a great time. Long Ring Longland, it's frustrating. I think it's still gonna go in fun time, but yeah, I mean the whole idea of the Foxy battle is really cool. That kind of system to have like a crew fight. It's a shame that we never get another one again, because it's a fun. It's the idea that pirates have this kind of like code of how to do battle with each other, where you go through these like trials and like, you know, it's almost like a sporting contest. Is really cool bit of world building that Oda doesn't really follow up on. But yeah, it's got some cool moments. It's funny, but it's nothing special for me. Water 7. Water 7, does it go in hype or peak piece is the thing. I think just because it is a setup arc, it has to go in hype. I think it's a little worse than Alabasta just on its own. But, I mean, talk about a gut punch. You know, not since Arlong Park that I really like feel like I fucking got hit in the stomach with the Usopp Luffy fight, Robin leaving the crew, fucking Sanji yelling at Luffy, to Zoro threatening to leave, to Nami and Chopper just crying in the corner. It's the only real time we get in fighting within the crew. And I think that definitely sets it apart, because it gives every character has some sort of emotional stake in what's going on, and every character has a reaction to it that fits their character. I think a lot of people misread Zoro's whole moment. I think a lot of people see Zoro's speech to Luffy and the rest of the crew as like him almost being like, I don't fucking care, you know, we gotta follow the captain because he's the captain, almost like authoritarian type shit. But I don't really read it as that, partially because he also threatens to leave the crew. It's more so Zoro saying, hey, if we want to be a serious pirate crew, we have to get our shit together, and like, we have to all be on the same page, regardless of our differences in goals and whatever. And then the reveal at the end with the whole Lucci stuff, it's great. The whole Sea Train fight, which I guess is part of Water 7, I believe. Enies Lobby, it's the best One Piece arc. It's the best one. It's for what I love about this series, it has everything. And what I love about One Piece is the dynamic between the Straw Hats. That's my number one thing that I love most. And Enies Lobby is all about the Straw Hats coming together, officially becoming a serious pirate crew. They're no longer just a bunch of friends fucking around. No, they are ready to, you know, take on the world government, and they have each other's back 100% of the way. And just, yeah, the I Want to Live scene, it's the best scene in One Piece. I don't think that's a very controversial opinion. Um, it's instantly followed by Silka King, shoot down that flag. One of the most hype moments in One Piece. Uh, Everybody gets their little fights. We get Monster Point with Chopper, which at the time is really cool. Now it's just kind of whatever. Sanji kind of gets jack shit to do because he's kind of in a comedy spot, but he deserves that. Um, yeah, it's peak. It's the best. It's over Wano, over Marineford, over Dressrosa. It's the best arc in One Piece, in my opinion. Post Enies Lobby. How do we rank the post Enies Lobby, the post Marineford, and I guess Levelly? Because they're not arcs. They're just they're lore dumps, which I guess Romance Dawn, Loguetown, they're also lore dumps. So yeah, I guess we'll put them in fun time. But yeah, let's just do all of them. Let's just... The ranking of fun time means nothing. There we go. We're just going to put them all in there. Next up, Thriller Bark. This is similar to Skypiea, one of the most contested arcs, because at its highest point, it has some of the best moments in the whole series. And its lows aren't really that low. It just kind of takes a really fucking long time to tell a story. It's funny. It's probably the funniest One Piece arc, but it takes forever to get going. And when it does get going, it's great. Obviously, nothing ever happened. You know, Brook's backstory are both peak, but let's see. It's not a hype. Isn't good. I mean, is good, but is it One Piece good? I think it goes there. Yeah. Sabaody is hype. I think Sabaody does a incredible job balancing both the lore with Rayleigh and the pacifistas, or I guess that's introduced in Thriller Bark, but the supernovas, the slave system in One Piece, with the emotional drama of, the crew fucking, they get sent away. They separate in this one. And it's completely just the whole story after the heights of Enies Lobby, where they escape the world government after surviving a pacifista, or Kuma, yeah, I think it's Kuma. But they're on top of the world, and then Sabaody, they just get their shit kicked in. They get absolutely fucking destroyed. And that crushing realization that they are not ready. It's the first time we're hinted at them just not being prepared for what's to come. It's great. I can remember myself in the process of watching it being like, oh fuck. It's the biggest oh fuck moment in One Piece. Amazon Lily. Don't fuck with this one. Is it the worst arc? I think Sierra Village is still the worst arc. Reverse Mountain, I guess it's worse than Amazon Lily. I don't really fuck with. Boa Hancock's a fun character. I think the world, the island itself that she occupies, and that whole backstory is cool and everything. But it just feels like we're just kind of wasting time till we get to the rest of the Marineford saga. Impel Down. Impel Down is an extremely fun arc, in terms of pacing, in terms of character moments. Impel Down, I think, goes in towards the top of good. I really like Impel Down. I think it doesn't have the emotional peaks that a lot of other arcs have, because obviously that comes later with Marineford. But it's still, it's still one of the most fun arcs. with Bon Clay and Mr. 3 and Buggy. Jimbei joins the crew. It really does feel like a race against the clock to get through Impel Down to get to base. And then we get Marineford, which I think goes at the bottom of Peak Piece. Is at the top. Is it better than Arlong Park? For what I like in One Piece, I don't think so, because I like the character dynamics, and Arlong Park just kind of has the edge in that department. But Marineford is still fucking incredible. It, to this day, outside of maybe Wano, feels like the biggest like battle in the One Piece universe that we've seen so far. Because yeah, it's on one side. Every outside of Kaido and Big Mom, it's every threat that we've established in this world with all of the warlords and basically the entire navy, and on the other side, it's the last beacon of the pre-Great Pirate era of pirates with the strongest pirate crew in the world, and then in the middle is just this plucky little idiot in Luffy just trying to save his brother. Ace's death is up there, top 10 moment, easy. Yeah, it's an incredible piece of writing when it comes to tension building and just overall. It feels like Luffy is beneath, the top tier of what's going on in the One Piece world, and yet he's still kind of stuck in the middle of it. I think it's great, but it's 10 out of 10, but I don't think it's quite, for me, as good as Arlong or Enies Lobby. Return to Sabaody, this is also kind of mid. Very focused on comedy, which I get, but, yeah, I don't know. It's like, tonally, it's like even though obviously years have passed, tonally it feels like the world just had one of the biggest tragedies for our characters, and now we're just running around being goofballs again. I don't like Return to Sabaody very much. Fishman Island gets a lot of shit because in the anime it's horribly paced, which this stretch from Fishman to Whole Cake in anime it's rough. It's a rough time. But Fishman, it has its strengths. I think we'll go at the top of Fun Time because I do enjoy it. Is it below? I think I got a bump. Do I bump Orangetown and Drum Island down? I think I do. They're still good. I feel like good should be turned to great. Because, Fun Time is still good. But, this stuff is where shit gets, really good. Punk Hazard fucking sucks. I almost want to put it below Syrup Village. Do I? Do I, though? Yeah, I really don't fuck with Punk Hazard. It is poorly paced. The island itself isn't that interesting. The world that it inhabits isn't that interesting. There's no standout moments. Law is cool, but yeah, this is the most 5 out of 10 arc One Piece has ever had, in my opinion. Dressrosa, speaking of poor pacing, fucking hell. It takes like 8 years to finish. These fuckers push up against a bird cage for 6 months. It's great. I think I'll put it above Thriller Bark. Above Impel Down. Dressrosa is the best villain in all of One Piece. Blackbeard might get there. Who knows? But, Kaido, a lot of people also love him, but I think Doflamingo's the best character. I love how the mystery, or the kind of, the revelation of why the island is as like kind of strange as it is. Yeah, it's a great arc with a lot of great moments for characters that don't get a lot of great moments, like Frankie and Usopp. But yeah, doesn't quite reach the same peaks as Hype and Peak Piece. Zoe, I really enjoyed Zoe. Zoe was a really fun time in terms of world building, in terms of introducing a cool. The island of Zoe, I think, is still my favorite location in all of One Piece. And then we get a whole cake. Look, I don't like Sanji. Sanji is my least favorite crew member. He's annoying. I don't know why he's there. They almost made me like Sanji, which I think is an accomplishment. But yeah, great. It's great. Yeah, it's the first time we go up against a Yonko. I think Nami, Luffy, and Sanji are obviously the emotional core. I just don't have much to say about Whole Cake. It's great. It's a strong 7 to a late 8 of an arc, but whatever. Wano is the second best arc in all One Piece. First off, Kaido and Big Mom as threats. The whole last act, where we're in the mansion and we have the rooftop battle with Kaido, and then beneath that we have all these other little battles with the crew. It's like the best kind of action we see in the series. Maybe outside Marineford. I mean, this kind of the cheat code that One Piece does with its like big action set pieces is it just kind of has levels, where it's like Enies Lobby. You have Luffy and Lucci at the top. Below that you got Zoro doing his thing. Below that you got Sanji and Chopper doing his thing. Same thing with Wano. But yeah, Wano's incredible. The world building, obviously. The animation, if we're counting that. The reveal of Gear 5. The fact that Luffy fucking loses like 3 times in a row. Which is crazy. It's a good way to have him beat, because Kaido's the strongest. I think we can accept he's like the strongest character in One Piece. So it's a good way to have Luffy beat the strongest character without him necessarily being the strongest, is to have him lose like 3 times in a row. Yeah, and before that, the first 2 acts, you can argue it drags, but it does still deliver the emotional peaks that you want. And yeah, also, everybody just looks really cool. Like, Zoro just looks really cool in this arc. Egghead. This is the first arc where I read it week to week. This is around the time I catched up. And it is... It's gonna go there. I don't have much to say, which is pretty underwhelming for the last entry on the list. But yeah, it's a really fun time. I think at this point, One Piece suffers from becoming a little bit too grand for its own good. Cause the Kuma backstory is incredible. Is like an S tier backstory in One Piece. But it's like there's just all this shit. There's all this shit being thrown at an Egghead that I feel like isn't necessary. Because Kizaru's there, but Lucci's also there, but also the Gorosei end up being there, and also Gear 5 almost doesn't feel special anymore. When it's like, nah, it's a little bit too hectic, a little bit too chaotic. I don't think it balances the chaos with the actual emotional drama as well as something like a Marineford or a Wano or an Enies Lobby. So yeah, that's my list. I think there's 4 absolute masterpieces in One Piece. There's only really 2 arcs that I straight up dislike, and even then, Punk Hazard and Super Village are fine. And Elbaf, that didn't include it because it's not over yet. I haven't actually read it. I took a break from One Piece. I might start reading it today because I'm in a bit of a One Piece mood. So, bye everybody. Hope you enjoyed.